This time I'm gonna get the names right as we hop right into it. At least we get to watch the beginning part of Picks and Bans as a very whoa, it's like the exact same. This is a replica of game one. At least the first three picks as RNG and LNG are just locking in picks like there is no tomorrow. It's like we're watching a Blitz chess series going on here instead of actual Picks and Bans, as now we're finally gonna have a break. It's going back 2 bans. Will we see another double support ban on the side of LNG going up against RNG? Yep, there we go, the Rakan ban as to be expected. On the side of RNG, yet again, it is the Nidalee ban trying to take away, and it really looks as though both teams just deciding, alright, I think we're very comfortable with what happened last game, so we're just gonna go for it. This time, the Irelia ban coming out against LNG. That's kind of odd because the Jax pick really was what caused a big fuss. No Viego pick to be seen as the Leona is indeed locked in. There's still the Nautilus available, and honestly, these picks are just coming in rapid fire. I'm not quite sure if I'm watching like a sped up version of this game. Let me see. No, playback speed normal. So okay, I mean, anyways, while we can still catch, it's probably going to be a mid lane pick over here. And against the Syndra, a Rise isn't really what you generally go for, but looks like it is what they will indeed go for. As they, looking at both the team comps, this is a top lane Lucian up against the Renekton. Of course, a fantastic pick. Top priority in favor of RNG. Mid lane 2v2. LNG's is pretty strong, honestly, because the setup on the Rise with the Rune Prison for the Lee Sin is phenomenal. But that being said, the Scatter the Weak so far from Crying has been absolutely on point. So it's pretty even mid lane 2v2 between the junglers. However, Lee Sin loses to Xin Zhao until first item, or at least second item, is somewhere around that mark. Meanwhile, bot side priority probably be in favor of Gala and RNG, although Light probably can win it back relatively easily. The Rel pick coming in, this is of course a much better team fighting pick. I mean, it's a real good team fighting pick, and we look at both of these compositions right now. It really is more of RNG gonna be able to play towards top side. Gala's gonna be chilling down the bot side. Ming's probably gonna be hitting some nice roams going around, and pretty much the same thing on the side of LNG. Play towards the top side, play around your star top laner. Ali absolutely took over game 2. And now in game 3, he no longer is on that scaling Jax, but he is on one of the LPL's favorite. This is like the originator of the Renekton power picks. Renekton first picks coming in here. And as we look at the runes, is there anything particularly surprising about either? It looks to be no, sir, nothing particularly surprising. And we're just going to hit back into game. Icon actually with the water walking as opposed to the Scorch or even the Gathering Storm, which probably signals to the rest of us that he is very, very much not at all interested in staying in this lane. Just try and clear out the waves as best as he can, as much as his currently limited mana pool will allow. It looks like it is going to be a double bot side leash for either team, both heading towards the top side. Of course, that is the volatile part of the map because Xiaohu is going to have the push, but Ale, if he can preserve his HP pool to a high enough number by the time Tarzan makes his way up towards the top side, then he'll be in a good position to just flash onto Xiaohu. Xiaohu, of course, needs to maintain his distance. He needs to also not push the wave too quickly. It's a lot of intricacies up towards that top side, and we're just looking down here in the bot lane, just hoping for some engage to go down. Really, I kind of give the 2v2 at this point in time to be slightly in favor of Gala because of course the auto attacks probably do a little bit more damage, as Xiaohu actually eating straight into Ale, but it's because Ale of course does not have that Ruthless Predator available, as down jumps Ming, actually stunning up Iwandi. In comes the stun as well from the Attract Repel, a fast level 2, but Iwandi made kind of tanky towards the tail end of that fight due to the Aftershock. Will be able to waltz out of it, and Iwandi busting both his summoner spells, and this time Ming, who is not on the set anymore, did hold his ignite, realizing that he does not really have the ability between the damage between him and Gala to finish things off. Now in the top side, we look, Tarzan is actually making his way up towards the top side. He did do a 3-camp clear. Now Xiaohu is crushing a gigantic wave. He is behind him. Ali flashing right onto a Ruthless Predator in. A nice flash from Xiaohu, actually getting away from the Sonic Wave. Now Xiaohu actually in a moment of power, truth be told, all he needed to do was get that flash off and dodge the Sonic Wave, which he has successfully done to say the least. And now Xiaohu just having the absolute time of his life up in this top lane. Ale is gonna have to recall, gonna have to get a teleport back most likely, at which point if the wave is big enough, honestly Ale might be in a bit of trouble if Wei decides to come in for a gank, but Wei not interested at all, actually doing a 5-camp clear into the Scuttle Crab, and with his bot lane in synergy, it looks like they're going to deny Tarzan entirely. So immediately quick change in tempo, a quick change in the results of the first 3.5 minutes of the game, as it looks like mid lane gank might even come out here as Ming is sitting in the bush. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't just step forward as Wei jumps in with the audacious charge. Icon running through, doesn't get knocked out by the last part of the 3 talent strike. In flash goes in, but oh, the safeguard was actually cancelled, but Wei flashing in onto Tarzan is a 3v3 situation as both the 8k is not here. Someone's teleporting in, that's Light, so it's gonna be a 4v3 soon. Ale stepping in, using Ming as a trampoline to jump onto the other 2 characters as Tarzan actually ends up being the one to take Wei down. In comes Xiaohu with the teleport, but he finds himself between 4 people, actually takes out Ale as a stun becomes out, stunning out both Tarzan and Light. Tarzan flashing out of the fight, being chased. Xiaohu in melee range gets taken out as well. Finally Tarzan falls as Ming jumps in as well. It is a 2v2, but Light is actually so much more HP, so much more damage. Ming trying his best to stay between Crying and Light actually not having enough damage to come through, but looks like Ming is gonna have to flash over this wall. Does not have it. Does he have the dismount though? It looks like he might soon. And after all that chaos, actually the kills go slightly in favor of RNG, and this is exactly what we want to see from RNG. When things are at their worst, when the moment comes, you need to just be as aggressive as possible, and I love the way they played. Interesting enough, Gala did decide to completely abandon the fight, completely abandon his compatriots, and just run down to the bot side. As you see, Icon here, very nice use of his passive, using the EW as well as the Q, forcing out a flash from Wei, and this is a really extended exchange coming out here. And as funny thing is, as Gala reaches bot lane, Light teleports up, and then Iwandi then makes his way up, and by the time he arrives, of course, the whole fight is over. Look how long Tarzan actually managed to stay in this fight. Look at the mobility of Lee Sin. And of course, look at this beautiful Scatter the Weak coming in here from Crying, absolutely stunning out Light, who honestly tried his best to do as much damage as possible. You see his mana bar running relatively low. And then this whole time, Iwandi finally makes his way up in time to save Light from a 2v2 situation against the Crying with the double buffs, while Gala's still happily pushing in a wave. And as a result, look at the CS discrepancy between the 2 AD carries. Look at the gold discrepancy. It's 1 kill worth of gold for all of that effort, as Ming just cheekily hex flashing over, and it looks like Crying might be in trouble here as Iwandi's found himself behind the bars. No flash available. Exhaust is nearly down. Crying. Nice side. Actually, not even sidestepping, just walking straight out of the Zenith place. Iwandi trying to predict a sidestep. Meanwhile, up in the top side, 45 to 15 CS. Crying is, Ale is absolutely crying right now, as Xiaohu is just having the time of his life as well, and everything is just falling in favor of RNG. Already a 1,000 gold lead in favor of Xiaohu up in the top side, and although that might not sound so bad in the grand scheme of things, if you look at it, Ale only has 1,500 gold right now, so he is absolutely being eclipsed by Xiaohu, who just steps forward. Beautiful aggroing of the tower, but Icon is making his way up. Crying does not have teleport available. In comes the Realm Walk right onto Xiaohu as Ale jumps in with the Restless Predator, but gets face checked immediately by Wei, who basically clotheslined him up using the 3-talent strike. Tarzan's gonna go down as well. Xiaohu's unkillable at this point, as Wei and Xiaohu trying their best to play together. Audacious charge in, Wind becomes lightning, and the last hit comes in from the 3-talent strike, getting a triple kill over to Wei. Good job from the top lane and jungle combination, as RNG absolutely playing it cool, disintegrating Ale as he slices forward before his dice, I think, can even go through, and then Tarzan is knocked up by the remnant of the 3-talent strike, and Icon is just torn asunder between the combined efforts. Now it looks like Tarzan is going to hit to his bot side, most likely give away this blue buff, but Crying is rotating down here as well to make sure that his bot lane is safe. Ming jumping forward, but getting stunned up immediately by Iwandi, chucked back by the Satchel Charge, but in comes the chains to stun him out. Iwandi jumps in, but it's so incredibly low. Gala forcing out his cleanse. He needs to dodge away from that last bouncing ball, but Tarzan is here as well. Safeguard in to try and get into position. Ming is dancing back and forth, gets taken out by Light, but Crying has arrived. Stun is available, does land onto Light as the Unleashed Power comes through, but Light survives with 1 shred of HP with a prayer in sight. Tarzan cheekily going for the Safeguard Sonic Wave, but Gala was most definitely watching him. True Shot Barrage is not available, and Light will actually survive this. Crying more than could have afforded to step forward, get that last auto attack, maybe even stall it for 2 more seconds to get that last Q off. And look at this beautiful setup here by Xiaohu, and Ale just absolutely incinerated by the Wind becomes lightning, and then the last knock up comes in. Tarzan trying his best to do damage, but Wei positioning himself so beautifully to get to tank up that Sonic Wave. And then at this point, look at that beautiful micro play come in here as Wei now jumping in onto Icon. Icon being rather cocky, I'd say. Wei hitting another Winds becomes lightning, and he will be able to to chase way out of the jungle, but really, what are all his efforts for? Because of the sustain of the jungle item way and the fact that he has the entire top side available to him, he's just gonna sustain right back up. Dragon is available, as is Rift Herald, honestly. Rift Herald is up, and that's the reason why we see so much rotations up towards here, and there's no doubt about it. RNG have a clear and definitive advantage right now, as Xiaohu is in complete control of the top side. Look at his items. He's even had the opportunity, the option to detour and get a tier without actually dropping too much pressure onto Ale. And Xiaohu is just going to start this up in full vision of LNG. And LNG are most likely just going to give it up. Just allow this to go the way of the Royal team. Royal never give up, because of course, why would you want to fight when your top laner is literally being Flame Horizon almost twice over? A little bit more, it's like 40 more CS, and Xiaohu will actually have triple Ale CS. And if we look at the gold discrepancy, it's at 1,600. Now it's time for some desperate plays, I suppose, as the setup both in mid and top is conducive to a Lee Sin gank, and that's exactly why we find Tarzan up in this top side. But Xiaohu is going to get a recall off, spend some of that gold. Most likely he will have completed his Gale Force at this point. There we go. First mythic item of the game is completed, and the second one is actually coming in on Wei, who has his Phage completed, has his Iron Spike Whip completed. An Icon trying to make his way towards bot lane, by the looks of it, trying to open himself up, trying to get something done for his team. Vision across the river is kind of even slightly in favor of LNG, because of course double control ward means you take away your opponent's vision and it lasts forever too. Important little benefit, as we see 2 mythic items now completed on the top side of RNG. Meanwhile, the rest of LNG absolutely suffering. Ale is not at all having a good time right now, kind of just getting a taste of his own medicine, I suppose, as this was kind of the situation. This is a lot worse of a situation that Xiaohu was in compared to the situation that Xiaohu was in last game, of course. Now, in the top side, looks like there's a gank being prepared. Xiaohu now heralds in the wave, as Wei steps forward as well. Ale not want to step shy away from a problem, is actually just stepping forward. There is double TPs available from both Light and Icon, so Ale is not entirely alone as the Audacious Charge comes in. Wei did not have the time, of course, to charge up his 3,000 strike, and now they're just aggroing the tower, trying to poke and prod, but up comes Icon as well as Tarzan, making their way up. Realm Warp is, of course, available, and he's kind of enraged at this point in time. Ming is coming out from the bot lane as well. He's already entered the river. Crying does have teleport available. Ale steps forward. Rift Herald will charge and take the tower down to 1 HP. As the arm comes the Dominus, but Tarzan spotting out Ming signals the rest of his team to fall back. As Flash coming in, Wade knocking him up as well, as the ultimate comes in from Wing at Ming as well. I think that was a flash too. And overall, RNG absolutely playing around Xiaohu this game, giving him a winning top side, and then just leveraging the entire team up to crush Ale under this absolute unstoppable, insurmountable, by the looks of this, pressure coming out from RNG. Absolute pleasure to watch. And now Dragon, no one seems at all interested in Dragon. Tarzan is in the mid lane trying to look for something, but Ming is coming down as well, as is Iwandi. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Gala just essence shifting forward, unfortunately missing every single ability to that precedes that comes after. Meanwhile, Xiaohu is going to be able to pick up that tower, and Light is just taking up a whole True Shot barrage to the face. Gala just using that spell off of cooldown to try and get as much gold, as much push, as much pressure as possible, making himself as hard to dive as possible. Not that LNG are actually, not that they've been given much of an opportunity to open up the map and actually try and get something across the map, as Icon stepping forward pretty aggressively here, actually doing a good job in terms of CS, a bit up onto Crying. In the overall gold sense, he is however still down about 300 gold, but compared to the efforts of last game, compared to his Renekton of last game, this is a lot better here coming out from Icon. And now Tarzan knows that the dragon is going down. The entirety of LNG know. But at this point, really, the players on the side of Royal are absolutely too strong. There's literally 3 mythic items on the side of RNG to the 1 on LNG. And that's coming only from Light. Quite literally the only ray and beacon of hope. Now Xiaohu, in spite of how far ahead he is, good discipline being showed here. Realizing that he is the weak side of the map right now, as his team as his team successfully completes their dragon take, and Xiaohun realizing that he needs to watch out for Tarzan coming in with the Lee Sin for a potential dive anything that could get Ale back into the game. And Ale does manage to pick himself up a couple nice plates here, but in comes Crying with the teleport. I'm not sure if LNG has spotted this out. Now Tarzan is pincer. I'm not sure if he knows that lands a Sonic Wave down onto Xiaohu, but Crying now is the one who's pincer between three people. It's actually in between a triangles. Dominus is looks like the slice and dice wasn't able to get through. Tarzan incinerated. Unfortunately, he did manage to take Crying with him, but Icon is taking the entirety of the culling onto his backside as the rest of RNG now pursue the criminals who took their mid laner's knife. Icon trying to run away. Ali's in position to slice and dice over the wall, tries to hit them with the Cull the Meek. Unfortunately, it was not enough. As the win becomes slightly nearly lands, so does the crash down from Ming. And a 1-for-1 in favor of LNG, I would say, because of course Crying was in a very comfortable position. Meanwhile, just the fact that they are ahead means that you get a bit more. It's even trades are always, everybody knows this, even trades always in favor of the team who is behind. And right now, I didn't even look at the overall goal lead, but you can kind of tell based on the kills itself. This time, it is a true indicator of the state of the game. RNG absolutely taking over. Now, Ale is here to defend Tarzan should he need it. And luckily, he did do this. Good awareness coming out from Ale because Tarzan would most definitely have needed it. Because Xiaohu, of course, was prowling like a tiger in the weeds, is just looking for an opportunity. In fact, he's even taking blue buff for himself away from his mid laner so that he can continue to exert pressure by the looks of it. And it looks like his little detour into the tier really would not have disabled him at all. Oh, it looks like Crying did teleport onto a ward, so of course they did know. So good discipline here from Tarzan, not running any further back, actually playing kind of a little bit further forward. And unfortunately, Crying nearly incinerates Tarzan, it is true, but Tarzan pretty much returns the favor. And although Tarzan does fall first, it's a good little trade. And Icon running with his tail between his legs, getting a massage on the backline, narrowly escapes. The wind becomes lightning, smiting him on the behind. Now, Rift Herald is spawning in about a minute's time, so that's going to be another point of contestation. Don't think LNG are in a particular position to be able to fight this. Gold lead still maintaining at 1.7k up in the top side, and that's the last statistic I was able to see. Before now, the goal has disappeared, and it looks like LNG perhaps trying to make a play down towards mid lane as Wei is left to his own devices to take that Rift Herald. Xiaohu and the rest of RNG meanwhile are just playing through mid lane, trying to pressure them as much as possible, trying to keep LNG from crossing over into the river, as there's a very clear demarcation down the map right in this mid lane, and RNG are in complete control of the top side. Ale now is only just gotten the wave out from under his side of the map, and he's gonna have to recall because he saw Xiaohu duck into the fog of war. He realizes that Wei is not in this area, and having seen that Rift Herald fall, he knows that he is most likely the next objective should they step forward. Ming tanking up a Sonic Wave, needs to be careful. Nice Realm Walk out into position, actually to get Gala, as Gala gets tagged up by everything in his best attempts to dodge everything. Unfortunately, gets bobbled around, and just every ultimate that was available with the exception of the Mega Inferno Bomb was used to explode Gala. Didn't manage to get his cleanse off in a vain attempt to stay alive, but alas, it was not to be. And now 16 minutes into the game, we're going to look at the gold lead. LNG have done a good job shrinking it slightly, but it looks like RNG are about to build it right back up as Wei does have flash available, and there's no way Light gets away from this. As in comes the flash, in comes the smite from the wind becomes lightning, and in the mid lane it looks like Icon goes down as well, as the remnants of the dodgeball match just get cleared away by League of Legends, and it looks like it was just Xiaohu coming in to tap Icon ever so slightly, and Crying just unleashing the full extent of his national level dodgeball abilities. Meanwhile, on the top side, Ali's going to at least be able to get somewhat back into this game. Has completed his God Drinker. In fact, to the credit of LNG, actually they've completed more mythic items than RNG has. That is, of course, probably because Crying for some reason is closer to completing his Archangel Staff as opposed to his Luden's Echo. But we will see with the gold he's just acquired off of Icon's corpse whether he will now have completed his mythic item. Chances are he will. And right off the bat, Dragon is going to be spawning in 30 seconds time, and interestingly enough, Crying actually opting to finish his Archangels first. And let's see a nice little setup here from Crying with that ball on the floor, and then in comes the Scatter the Weak, and then Icon just absolutely dodgeballed to death. And ooh, very nice play coming in here from Xiaohu, actually flashing away from that last Q. Not that would have killed him, but I think he was kind of expecting the Rune Prison route to come down. And now some aggressive plays being made by LNG up towards his top side, because they realize RNG are most likely going to play towards that Dragon, start stacking it up. And a good awareness coming in here from both Ming as well as Xiaohu. Qua just here to make sure that each other are safe, not planning at all to step up and defend that tier 3 tower. It looks like LNG will pick themselves up that goal. We'll get Ali back into this game. But I don't know if Ali is the person you want to be getting all of this money, getting all of this alone and free time, because Ali is really not in a great position here. It looks like RNG may have stepped forward too far as I1D flashes in. Xenoblade does miss. Ming playing a lot of disruption as in comes the crash down even to get Ali further off of Xiaohu. Ali even had flash available, but I guess he just didn't have time to use it as a nice true shot barrage as she swipes through the rest of LNG. But meanwhile, in the bot side, RNG are going to trade all of that pressure that they've managed to stymie up in the top side from LNG and take a tier 2 tower. 600 gold now split between both the jungler and the mid laner. Everything just going the way of RNG in this game. Somehow they found the life right back in them, and it looks like we've got a clear game plan of how RNG can get back into this game. Just take control of the early game and just run with that. Draft a winning top lane, play around him, and then try and get a little bit ahead somehow. Try to run as much interference as possible between Tarzan. So you're really playing through top and jungle and maybe punishing mid lane ever so slightly. As we see, the pain has been split relatively evenly across the entirety of the top side of LNG. Meanwhile, RNG's top side are the ones who are sharing in the spoils, as Xiaohu now, having completed his Sereldas, is now, by the looks of it, building towards his Muramana, but really he could be making any kinds of moves, as Xiaohu so far has been absolutely slick with sidestepping that Xenoblade. I1D unable to catch him. It's like he's chasing his own shadow. Meanwhile, RNG just pillaging the top side. Ali trying to steal away the Krugs from his own jungler as best as he can so he can at least deny it from Wei and the rest of RNG. Now Baron is spawning in 30 seconds time, and in this entirety of the time, LNG has been able to get something across the map as Icon now is picking up a wave, but in quick response, RNG now pushing in the top side. Ali trying to step forward, does get stumped up by the Scatter the Weak. In fact, Wei was charging up his 3 talent strike, has the last hit available, I do believe. Wind becomes lightning, does go wide. Wei jumps forward onto Ali, Charlie jumps forward onto Cry, incinerates him in a 1v1 that was absolutely beautiful, as Wei could do nothing but look on as an onlooker, but Wei, of course, is in position to take him out. Gala is slightly pincered between I1D Tarzan as well as Light, and he knows it. He does have a little bit of mana available, probably waiting on some time for his Essence Shift, but just deciding, actually I think he used it. But the rest of LNG has no idea, as in comes the Sonic Wave. Teleports are only available for Cry, who right now is dead for 13 seconds. Wait, I don't think he's going to be able to survive this. And this could be enough for LNG to come back into the game. Baron, it will be available on the cards after this, as Icon comes in to put out the damage. Only people remaining are the double AD carries and the support of RNG. And that is more than enough of a deterrence, by the sounds of it, for LNG to not even attempt, not even entertain the idea of Baron. As in comes the culling right into the Sereldas, and the slow is just too much. Xiaohu, despite missing quite a fair number of his shots as well as the damage from his Gale Force, nearly culls down Light in an instant in time. And right now, clear as day, clear as I see this screen before me, RNG's sole light, as it was in game 1, is Xiaohu up in this top lane by the look of it. I mean, to be fair, Crying and Wei are doing a fantastic job as well, but right now they are by no means surpassing this all-star top laner right here. Sign him for another 3 years, says I. And I'm not quite sure how Ali managed to pull this off. So he slices and dices forward, pops Dominus, and then just flashes on him. And really, it is just... It was literally a Ruthless Predator auto attack called the Meek. And that was, or in simple terms, a W auto Q. And that was the end of Crying. Crying didn't stand at all a chance. Now Xiaohu is 3 stacks off, literally one ability on an enemy champion off from completing his Muramana, at which point I am pretty sure that Light, if he was put in that same situation, if Xiaohu missed the same number of culling shots, he still would have gone down, that's what Light would have. As I1D now stepping forward, little does he know he's been completely wrapped around by both Ming and Wei as they jump forward, trying to get the rest of the team. Icon has a front line in front of him, however, as I1D goes into the stopwatch. In comes Ale, who teleports in. Dominus is propped. Ming is absolutely destroyed, as Tarzan now has good flank on Ale, trying his best to get on top of the double eight of the 2 carries. And meanwhile, in the midst of everything else, Wei, with his Sterak's and his stopwatch pop, actually jumps in and assassinates Ale, but the rest of his team is available. Xiaohu has now entered, and no one's paying attention. Nice Blade comes in as well as the Sonic Wave, as Xiaohu unable to get the kills done, and he needs to get out of here, as Tarzan now is looking for the kill. Sonic Wave just barely misses, but Gala in a 1v1 duel against Light, nearly, he misses the Mystic Shot, the key Mystic Shot, which would have made all the difference in RNG. Looks like they're letting their grip of this game loose. They're relaxing their grip on this game. It's going slightly loose, and LNG poking and prodding, playing together exceptionally, being there for their team. Dragon is spawning in 20 seconds time, and this could be massive. At least RNG will be on the map for this. because of course you don't want to give up the soul point. And Ming unfortunately used his ultimate to only really grab Iwandi, who actually survives the entirety of that exchange. Something about LNG's immortality trait that just doesn't sit right with me. And Iwandi and Icon are the two real big time villains in this. As look at Iwandi absolutely playing phenomenally, and then Tarzan and Ale, fantastic teleport coming in from Ale, who just gets thrown onto both the carries and then realizes, okay, wait, this is too much damage. As soon as Xiaohu turns the corner, scurries out, unfortunately gets assassinated by Wei, but Wei puts himself in an awful position, and Icon just able to put out so much damage. And then Iwandi and Tarzan of course playing so exceptionally, so we jump right back into another fight, as looks like Wei is taken down to half HP. The smites are absolutely even. Tarzan will have the Sonic Wave to help him try and execute it, as in comes the fight. Wei jumping into a 5-man situation as the rest of his team is stunned up by the Solar Flare, but in comes Ming, actually grabbing 4 people. Mega Inferno Bomb across the board, there's damage to 4 people as well. Ming now trying to run out of the fight. The Sonic Wave is onto him, but a massive Scattered Wii just destroys the remainder of LNG, and Light now is on the run. Unfortunately, this time he will not be able to win any 1v1s. His Iwandi also will probably not be able to survive this, as the chain goes down, as does the crash down. Attract and Repel goes in. Double kill to finish off the fight. RNG might lose Soul Point Dragon, but they will take 5 members of LNG as well as Baron, and maybe even that mid lane tier 2, which that huge wave has collected over. And this is the benefits of having a double AD carry. You don't actually need both of them to be in position to take this Baron. Xiaohu right now does tons of damage, making his way towards what looks to be a Merctrids, or maybe even a more of Malmortius, for the damage output coming out from both Light and Icon. Absolutely shredding, truth be told. And really the only person who can stand before them is Wei, with his Crescent Swipe available. And Tarzan doing a good job here. Ali actually a very nice little hidey hole here. And Light gets a 5-man Mega Inferno Bomb, I do believe. And look at that beautiful Solar Flare coming out from Iwandi as Wei jumps in. Actually, this would have been absolutely one fight if Wei was any other champion other than Xin Zhao, with the Crescent Strike able to block so much of that damage. And with the number of balls out on the floor, the Scatter the Wii is absolutely massive. Light and Iwani could not step into that fight and couldn't even run away from it either, as Ming did nice little bunch of mechanics coming through here. Now, things are looking pretty grim for LNG, which I think is kind of a shock to say, because they were so dominant, so pioneering, so in control of games 1 and 2. It's good to see a little bit of fight left in RNG with their 7,000 gold lead, hard-earned 7,000 gold lead that they have collected. But to the credit of LNG, they are not keeling over by any means. No sir, no. They are actually playing exceptionally well as well. They are actually fighting for as many of these objectives as possible. They're clearly identifying their win conditions, clearly identifying their strengths and their power spikes, and stepping forward. But Icon taking so much damage. I'm not sure if he's got his Merc traits completed. No, actually opting for the Ionian boost of Lucidity. And Xiaohu actually is so far away from his team. Not quite sure what he was doing. He might have been clearing out a ward. But now he's going to be in position to try and push in the wave. But Ale and Tarzan might have a very nice flank onto him. Teleports are available from Only Crying, as in comes the slash and dice. Xiaohu actually does have the QSS, as Ale takes the entirety of the culling, and Xiaohu just steps away from a 1v2 situation with a kill in pocket. Icon flashes in. Unfortunately, doesn't even get the doesn't even get the rune prison off, as the unleashed power comes in. He is forced into a Zonias, and Crying saving the Scatter the Weak for when he emerged from it. Xiaohu just popping the QSS and gunning down the Crocodile. Absolutely beautiful, spectacular, stellar play coming in here. Tarzan probably could have reacted with a flash or a safeguard into a kick, but after the slice and dice were gone, Ali really didn't have too much. It's really not much that you could have done. I guess Tarzan, the only way he could have saved that is if he Sonic Waved onto him, Ward jumped forward and used the Dragon's Rage. But of course, that's incredible mechanic, as Ming jumps in, gets kicked straight into the fountain. Unfortunately, Light being stunned up in the front lines means he was taken down, but Gala also frontlining. That's unfortunately okay, because they have... Oh, that was Xiaohu actually who was frontlining. But that's okay, as they do have 2 AD carries. Gala hit up by the Sonic Wave. Tarzan looking for an opportunity to jump in to save his top laner as well as his mid laner. But it looks like they do need your help, as now Crying, eyes on the prize, is going to take out the Nexus, and RNG come back in game 3. Looking pretty solid, looking kind of shaky actually in that mid-game situation. But then again, that's really not to say that they didn't play well. It's just that LNG are just so comfortable in that part of the game that it's only natural for RNG to kind of just suffer a little bit. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, with a little bit of life, with the scent of hope in the air. RNG take game 3, and all that remains is to see if they can take it this distance, if we are going to be the fortunate people, viewers who get to watch a game 5 unwind. But until the time comes when we can screen game 4 with a little bit of commentary, I will have to bid you adieu. See ya, boys and girls, of course. See ya!